The world has changed, and so did London, so much so that I can barely recognize it. We have a situation, it's the virus in the big city. I'm walking down the bank of River Thames now, and on the left there's the London Eye, that doesn't spin anymore. As a matter of fact, no one walks around there anymore, and in the front we've got the Big Ben. We are slowly approaching it, and in the meantime I will show you and explain what's going on in Big London these days. On the way we're passing the epic Battle for Britain monument with its famous Churchill quote: "Never was so much owed by so many to so few." Who knows, maybe soon we will get another monument to commemorate the victims of war with invisible enemy COVID-19. Well, I would say there that never was so many infected by so few in such a short time. You see, across the road there is a Scotland Yard building, and I was just stopped and told off by the policeman to stop acting like a tourist. But the only thing that I want to do is to record what's going on during the lockdown of London and to show people what we have to put up with. You can get easily fined for loitering on the streets. It will cost you £30. And that's the minimum charge. The renovation of Big Ben has been put on hold. All the repairs have ceased, but I guess we can live with that. As you can see, the Big Ben still looks like a tower from Mordor, with all the scaffoldings surrounding it. Apart from that, the usual crowd which you can get on the Elizabeth Bridge completely disappeared. You don't get to see anyone hanging around these days. Instead, you get to see loads of people riding bicycles or jogging. You could get the impression that London has become the capital of fitness. And that's because that's one of the reasons now when you can legally leave the house to exercise. And if you are suspected of being infected, you can be stopped by police. Whether you like it or not, you will be detained for the test. If you try to refuse, you will be fined £1,000, and they will enforce it anyway. Constantly you can hear the sirens on the street, and usually it's the ambulance, which is really worrying. As you can see, the streets are empty, so no one is messing about. Most of the people obediently stay at home. Maybe apart from this guy that decided to have some sunbathing, he's under the watchful eye of the sheriff, but I don't think it makes it any safer. We are on the Trafalgar Square by the Nelson column, and no one is climbing the great lions on the plinth. Usually this place is swarming with tourists, but these days they are nowhere to be found. Unfortunately, I've got a bad news for you. I've just found another victim of the uneven battle. No, not with the virus, with the cheap booze. Change of guards is cancelled today. We are by the majestic gate of Buckingham Palace, and the enemy we're fighting with doesn't care about your social status, whether you're rich or poor or have a noble descent. As we know, even Prince Charles from the royal family was stricken by the disease. Normally I wouldn't be able to cross it on the red light. And so we made our way to St. James Park. We are living in very strange times, where no one can really feel safe now. However, nature is waking up, it's getting beautiful outside. Despite the lockdown, people still have right to walk the dog, make essential groceries or go out for exercise. London is a metropolis with 9 million inhabitants. It's not easy to control such a mass of people, and there is always going to be someone who doesn't want to follow the rules. Oh ho, here they come. I think we're going to have some action now.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, if you are not exercising, you're not walking your dog, or any other means of exercise, please leave the park.
Well, you've heard the man. If you don't walk your doggy, ain't exercising, then get up out of park, please. While I'm doing my power walk, I think I'm alright. They chased off people from the bench. Mission accomplished. If you want to stay in the park, you need to do some laps around the pond. Generally speaking, the situation is serious. This virus literally just exploded in London. And when I think of it, they thought we will be done with the lockdown after Easter. That was bloody optimistic. They sold out all the toilet paper. Everyone is scared shitless sitting at home. Hey, look at this! They sold out all the Russian vodka. For sure they will be drinking it now by the glass for healthy reasons. And for some reason the beer Corona is not selling very well. Well, in that case, let's make a toast for everyone. So let the healthy people stay healthy and those who are sick come back to health promptly. This lager still tastes good, whether there is a virus or not. Don't let it get to your head. When the enemy is invisible, and you don't know when and where it may strike, the only thing we can do to stay sane is to put some distance on it. Distance matters. Distance, distance, distance. 2 meters minimum. And only 2 people can gather together at the same time. Sometimes I think that life can be much easier when you can pack everything into just one backpack. That bloke in red seems to be doing just fine. However, his mate, bam, he's done, flat on the floor. That's yet another victim of alcohol pandemia in London. Whoa, that's a scary entrance to the underground. Stay informed. Read the free press. Any good news?
Yeah, not really.
The tabloid's journalism always knows how to cheer up people. Yo, I know that the shops might be undersupplied, but to piss on them, literally?
Where to stop people sitting there, causing like 5 colleagues trouble.
It turned out that they threw some water so the bums don't sit on that pavement. Those guys live on the street in a tent. That's hardcore. They claim that so far none of them got it, despite the fact that they live on the front line. That is really suspicious. In the tube, you won't get crowds. Some of the stations are closed. The trains don't stop there. People are afraid to use underground, and rightfully so, as it is dangerous. In a confined space like this, it's easy to catch something, especially during the rush hours. Looks like no one is rushing now, but the wind in the empty tunnels. The tube is broadcasting the message that says, don't use it. You should only travel if your journey is essential, as a key worker. That's the only person that doesn't break during the outbreak. How you doing, pal? Bit silly, eh? Here we are on Leicester Square, also a very popular spot in the city that gathers people. In normal times, it's a very cheerful place. But hey, we've got quarantine.
What it is, you know when you're going on like people on the tube, not now. You notice people
Closed for business. Nevertheless, someone has to guard fancy iPhones. With the closure of the shops on the shopping streets like Oxford or Regent Street, they can now only count the endless losses. Although the cinemas and theaters have been closed long time ago, they haven't taken down all the playbills. They supposed to play here City of Angels. Well, now they can play City of Virus at best. It's not a problem to catch a bus. They are still in a reduced service, but mostly they are running empty, you see? There are no passengers on board. I can tell you that the driver is scared. I could see it in his eyes. We have to respect him for the courage to do this job in times like this. This is Piccadilly Circuss, another famous landmark of London. Needless to say, it looks pretty darn empty. You can forget about the street artists, performers and hundreds of people that used to flock around the statue. Piccadilly Circus used to be very lively, but now has become a really strange place. You see, the adverts are still playing on the big screens, but there is no one to watch them. I guess everyone is doing it at home right now. Well, if you have a craving for an advert, there is no shortage of them on YouTube. So this is the abandoned London in the time of lockdown. We all want everything to come back to normal, so stay safe people, and follow the government guidelines. We just have to wait out these strange times. So what if they close the gyms? This is no excuse not to get fit. You can do it anywhere. If there is a will, there is a way.
Hooah!